Hey there Sega fans, it's Retro Martin here, and what an incredible week it's been. Last week Sega dropped perhaps the most amazing trailer of all time, unveiling new games in development for Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, Golden Axe and Crazy Taxi, all of which are fantastic franchises from Sega. For those of you that haven't seen the trailer, I won't play it in the video here. What I'll do is I'll drop a link in the description below, so go check that out if you haven't. What I want to do with this video is just go over some footage of the origins of those games, just looking at some of the older titles and the range of them within them. So those of you that are new to the franchises can see their amazing origins and hopefully be inspired to play them. And those of us that are old hats can just reminisce and enjoy looking at some of our favourite games. So as always, I hope you enjoy the video.
The first game shown in the trailer was Jet Set Radio, known as Jet Grind Radio in the US. This absolute classic originally came out in 2000 in all regions throughout the year for the Dreamcast. The general gist of the game is, in a future Tokyo called Tokyoto, gangs of rollerblading youths graffiti up the city to claim turf. You take on the role of a lad named Beat, who is trying to join the Gigi's gang run by Gum. Once you've completed their cleverly designed tutorial challenges to join, you get in and have the use of Beat, Gum, and another skater called Tab. You then roam parts of the city to oust one of several themed gangs by tagging highlighted spots, and avoiding the comical and increasingly over-the-top Tokyoto Police Department, headed by Captain Onishima. The story unravels more from there, but I won't spoil anything in this video. Their cel-shaded graphics, outstanding soundtrack courtesy of Hideki Naganuma, and fun gameplay all came together to create a unique audio and visual treat that still plays great today. A HD remaster was to come in 2012 for most current platforms, and back in 2002, a sequel titled Jet Set Radio Future was released for the Xbox. A spiritual successor by another studio, named Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, also picked up the gaping hole left without a new Jet Set Radio all this time. Next up, we had a short showing of a 3D Streets of Rage. The original game, known as Bare Knuckle in Japan, released on the Mega Drive in 1991 to plenty of acclaim. The tight brawler gameplay, 90s aesthetic, and Yuzo Koshiro's monumental soundtrack all came together in the perfect way. Taking on the role of one of 3 ex-cops, Axel Stone, Blaze Fielding, and Adam Hunter, you fight your way through several stages, fighting street punks and big bosses across some varied locales. There's even an armed officer with a rocket launcher to assist you in a tight spot, though I do prefer Player 2's version, which fires a giant Gatling gun raining fire across the screen. It just looks better, alright? This was followed up in 1992 and 1993 by Streets of Rage 2, widely considered the best game in the series. Everything was bigger and badder, the sprites were bigger, more moves were added, and the roster was expanded, with Adam now playing Damsel in Distress and being replaced by Max Thunder, and Adam's younger brother Eddie Skate Hunter as the speedy but weak character, in addition to all of them having individual super moves and a dash attack. Motohiro Kawashima is added to musical duties alongside the returning Yuzo Koshiro. They also both return for the next game. Shortly after, in 1994, Streets of Rage 3 was released to a more mixed reception. The core gameplay was improved, with dedicated running outside of attacks and more fluid action and varied enemies, but the worldwide release was crippled with unnecessary changes to the characters and the difficulty boosted. Japan's hard was the worldwide normal for some reason. It also had a bit of a weaker soundtrack than the first two, though overall it was still quite decent. My advice with this one is to play the Japanese version, if you can, where the character aesthetic and difficulty are put back to normal, and it rivals the second game in everything but music. You may be more familiar with 2020's Streets of Rage 4 by Dotemu, Lizard Cube and Guard Crush Games, which was very well received. The core cast of the original game are back, with Skate replaced with his sister Cherry, and the strongman being Floyd Araya. An expansion adds a fun survival mode and brings back Max and Shiva, a boss from the second and third games. A widely composed soundtrack with Yuzo Koshiro and Motohiro Kawashima back, alongside tunes by Olivier de Riviere, deliver a package that is up there with the originals. All 4 games are widely available and worth your time to seek out and play. Following on was my personal highlight from the trailer, Shinobi. The art style in the trailer looked incredible, don't you agree? You'll have noticed the arcade cabinet behind our 2 host gamers in the trailer as well. This arcade cab originally released in 1987 with the eponymous Shinobi, a side-scrolling action game. Taking on the role of Joe Musashi fighting the terrorist organisation Zed, you can walk, crouch, jump, alternate between upper and lower planes, throw or slice shuriken and use ninjutsu techniques whilst fighting multiple enemies and saving hostages. A Master System version followed in 1988. In 1989, there was a sequel in the arcade named Shadow Dancer, which was largely the same, but it added a dog to assist you, and it can grapple with enemies to prevent them attacking you for a short time. The same year came what is probably the most celebrated release in the series, with The Revenge of Shinobi, or the Super Shinobi in Japan. Featuring another Yuzo Koshiro soundtrack, this game looked utterly fantastic on the Mega Drive, with gameplay being largely the same, fighting your way through several levels using shuriken or close combat techniques. There are 4 ninjutsu spells to choose from, including temporary invincibility and a fire attack. This game was also a copyright nightmare with Spider-Man, Batman, Godzilla and a bit too close Terminator making up some of the bosses. And different versions of the game will have different bosses based on its release when some of these were changed. A loose adaptation of the arcade game Shadow Dance would follow for Mega Drive in 1990 and sticks to the formula present in the arcade game with the K9 companion. It looks very similar to the one you see Musashi riding in the trailer. Several spin-offs ensued, with the Cyber Shinobi on Master System and 2 Metroidvania-style games for the Game Gear before 1993 saw the release of Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, or the Super Shinobi 2 in Japan, which makes a bit more sense from a numbering perspective. Like a lot of sequels, this was bigger, badder and better, with Musashi having plenty of new moves such as blocks, wall jumping, hanging, a downward kick, and also taking on horse riding and surfboarding through several levels. The series would go on to have a few more releases, such as Shinobi X, or Shinobi Legions in the US, for the Saturn, which is largely ignored as nothing special, 2 PS2 games named Shinobi, original, and Nightshade, or Kunoichi in Japan, and Shinobi 3D on the 3DS in 2011, though, bar a few cameos, nothing has come of the series until now. Next up, the classic Golden Axe, a 1989 arcade game later ported to the Mega Drive or Genesis and Master System. It had a Conan the Barbarian style vibe as a side-scrolling brawler. 3 characters, Axe Battler, Tyrus Flare and Gilius Thunderhead, all with differing strengths and weaknesses, a fun magic system and mounted beasts made up what was an excellent game. All 3 characters are seen in this new Sega trailer, along with the chicken leg mount that is used across some of the games to attack with. I hope you spotted them. Sequels would of course follow, with Golden Axe 2, which was a more of the same but bigger sequel, and featured the legendary Naofumi Hataya on music duties. The characters remain the same, so if you'd played the first, you could have easy expectations of the second. The third game tried to stray a little bit more from the formula. Released in 1993, Golden Axe 3 would remain in Japan, and has been derided by gamers over the years. Playing it quite a lot over the last few years myself, I have come to see some of this derision to be unfair. Naofumi Hataya returns to create what I believe is the strongest soundtrack of the series, and the combat was actually upgraded, with the characters now being able to block, attacks split between mid and low, grappling, directional throwing, super moves, and a slightly different cast, even if 2 were just Axe Battler and Tyrus Flare to some degree. The levels themselves are quite varied, with branching paths, and there are 2 endings based on your continues left and route taken. There's actually plenty in there to give a fair shot, so for those people that didn't like it, I urge you to try it again. There are several other games in the series, with a one-on-one fighter, another arcade game, and action RPG games, including what you can see on the screen at the moment, Golden Axe Warrior, for the Master System. What we don't talk about is 2008's Golden Axe Beast Rider. Don't ask. The trailer ended its new showings with Crazy Taxi, an absolutely bonkers game originally released in arcades in 1999 with a Dreamcast release in 2000. The premise is simple. You play a taxi driver and with a time limit roam the town, pick up fares and take them to their destination. But like most Sega games, a simple premise belies an incredibly deep game with additional score yielded by driving too close to other cars, performing stunts, making jumps and reaching the destination quick, and there's many more besides. There's plenty of come back and try again power with this one. What didn't exactly hurt was the utterly phenomenal soundtrack. Whirring it up for the first time and hearing the Offspring blast out was a joy, and no, I will not be doing the beginning notes. Further releases came to the PlayStation 2, GameCube and PC. Later releases would come and go, but all would be lesser beside the arcade and DC original, which had licensing with Levi's, KFC, Pizza Hut and others that were missing from other ports. A sequel would arrive in 2001 for the DC, and a further sequel in Crazy Taxi 3 for the Xbox in 2002, with some later spin-offs also doing the rounds over the years. That core gameplay has been a hit with gamers all over, and we cannot wait to see what the new game has in store. You know, I hope it's so good, we'll all be dancing around the room going, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, damn it, I did the thing anyway.
The trailer even mentioned "and more."
And more could be absolutely anything. Maybe it could be one of these.
Power up.
So there we have it, a big look into each of the 5 franchises and their origins. I hope you've enjoyed coming with me and looking at all of these games and seeing what made them so fantastic to those of us that are old enough to remember them. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next video. And remember, to be this good takes ages. To be this good takes Sega.